bring to this?
So in typical Hollywood fashion, because we like to think we know what we're doing, so, you know, he tells us, you know, Fusco's really your guy, you know, he pitches hard. So we then interview every single writer in Hollywood and end up with Fusco because he is the guy. So he knows what he's talking about. And one of the reasons, you know, Gail and I sort of leaned back and said, if you could design a writer, you would design John Fusco to write the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Look back at his work and you say, okay, Young Guns 1 and 2. He knows what ticks with sort of that young people and how they interact together. He gets action. Personally, he's been doing Shaolin Kung Fu since he's been a teenager. He knows more about the martial arts than anybody I know. And one of the things that we're absolutely convinced is that there's an authenticity that must be in this movie, that there is a reality. This is not the animated film. These guys are real.
Yeah, also, for the moment, you know, I was in New Mexico and I got John on the phone. Thanks to Steve. Steve gave me the phone number and gave me the number. And I called Scott like right after I got the phone. I said, "He's it. He's the guy." I mean, he had such passion and such knowledge for what we wanted to do in this movie and take this turtle brand to where it needs to go in the future and to, you know, create what we think is a movie that will not only make all of you very happy and just get chills and love what we're going to do with the new, but also for everybody who's never seen the turtle, when that walks into this movie, we want to start a new group. I want to kick this thing off, and Scott and I are committed to take this movie so that we can start a new franchise of fans.
Right, so on the 50th anniversary, we'll be at the end of the table, you know, with our walkers, and we'll be talking about this.
Yeah.
And a benefit for Mirage is that John lives in Vermont. So for the first time, we actually have someone we can go visit if we want to, and not always be, because Pete doesn't fly, making everyone fly to Northampton, Massachusetts. And to quote John's teenage son, who is a little familiar with the Turtles, when John got off the phone with these guys, he turns to his son and says, you know, what do you think if I should, you know, write a new movie for the Turtles? And the kid thinks a minute and goes, dude, that would be sick. So that's what we're hoping for.
That's the line on the poster.
Hey, now we would like to throw it open to some questions from the audience, and if you could try to spread your questions around to some toys, some old movies, some new movie, some TV, that would be great rather than focusing on one person.
Okay, big fan, of course, huge fan. Went to see the first movie with my dad when I was little. It's been big, but my biggest question really is for the Scott Galen. Now, when the new movie comes out, is it going to be kind of like how the first movie was? Because the first movie, even for a kids movie, was pretty dark. You know, there was a lot of action. The turtles used their weapons, and then come around to the second movie, you know, Michelangelo was getting foot soldiers with a yo-yo. So I just want to know if
I
there's
can assure you, this is a scoop for everybody, there will be no yo-yos.
Okay. I just want to make you know.
Well, look, our point of view is this, and you can read into as much as you want or as little as you want. First, go back and look at the original comics, and that's why the movie was dark. Okay, there is a dark edge to this, but I also think 2011 is different than 1990. We have a much more sophisticated audience, kids as well as the adults. We have an audience that will accept a darker tinge. Look at the new Harry Potter film is rated PG. There's a lot of scary stuff in that. So we've got a lot of latitude, but we're heading where you're heading.
Yeah, I guess my question is for Boyd and then the moderator as well, because it has to do with the current animated TV show. The Lost episodes, which were like the end of season 6, what happened? How come they became lost eventually?
You know,
I knew they weren't the whole time. They weren't lost. Gary, what happened?
Gary.
I think it was a marketing, decision. Mirage was fine with what we called the lost episodes. They really, when we were working on them, they were called the Ninja Tribunal. It was a 13-part story arc. Okay, so it's one leads into the next. The marketing people went out to sell them, and the reaction from international broadcasters in particular was, we hate television series for kids that are serial in nature. We want to be able to run an episode whenever we want to be able to. So we ended up not really being able to sell it. So we set them aside, and we called them the lost episodes, and then went on to fast forward. But then the popularity kind of kept up. We needed some to put into the pipeline quickly, and all of a sudden people looked at the lost episodes as not so lost. And so we can forgive the fact that they're 13 serialized episodes and put them back on, so they became found. And that's kind of the spin we put on it to try to market